The year is 2026. And guess what's happening? Exactly, Bitcoin is being officially declared dead for what feels like the 1,000th time. The price has dropped. The neighbor is smirking over the garden fence again, the uncle at the family gathering is triumphantly touting his home savings plan, and the traditional financial experts are patting themselves on the back saying, "I told you so, pure speculation." But let's tune out the noise. Imagine I tell you this, you don't need millions. You don't even need a whole Bitcoin. Just 0.1 Bitcoin, a tenth, could completely turn your financial life upside down in the coming years. At first glance, that doesn't seem like much, does it? But this fraction could be the decisive line. The line between those who just watch the departing train and those who actually own a piece of the rarest financial network humanity has ever created. Most people just shrug. What's the point if I can't afford a whole Bitcoin? But the truth is, the future won't ask you how much you wanted to own. It will ask how much you actually secured. And by the time the rest of the world gets it, the doors will already be firmly shut. Here's the part almost everyone has heard, but very few truly understand. It's not infinite. The maximum supply is 21 million coins. No exceptions, no extra issues, no money printer like with traditional currencies. Now imagine dividing these 21 million Bitcoin into slices of 0.1 Bitcoin each. That makes 210 million pieces. Sounds like a big number, right? But think bigger. There are already more than 8 billion people on the planet. If everyone tried to own just a tenth of a Bitcoin, there wouldn't even be enough for 3% of humanity. The remaining 97% wouldn't get even a fraction. And that's just the beginning. Not all of these 21 million coins are actually available. Millions of Bitcoin are gone forever. Lost passwords, burned hard drives, forgotten wallets. The real circulating supply is much smaller. Now add another layer. There are over 120 million millionaires worldwide. If each of them decided to buy just one full Bitcoin, there wouldn't be enough to satisfy even half of them. And even if they lowered their target to 0.1 Bitcoin, the supply still wouldn't be enough. And that's before you account the companies, funds, and governments already entering the market. The reality is simple but merciless. Scarcity is written into the code. When you hold 0.1 Bitcoin, you're not just holding a series of numbers. You're holding a digital seat in the rarest financial arena ever created. And with each passing day, the competition for these seats gets fiercer, while the number of available pieces continues to shrink. The biggest mistake people make when they first hear about Bitcoin is that they only look at the price. They see the numbers 60,000 euros, 70,000 euros, 100,000 euros, and immediately think, that's not for me. I could never afford a whole Bitcoin. And that's where it ends. They walk away, never realizing that the real opportunity was right in front of them. Right now, with us being almost 50% below the all-time high, this opportunity is more tangible than ever. But here's the truth. You don't need a whole Bitcoin to change your future. You don't have to invest huge sums all at once. This isn't a lottery or a casino. It's a slow, steady process, a plan built on patience and discipline. This is where the strategy called dollar cost averaging, or in plain terms, the good old Bitcoin savings plan, comes into play. The idea is simple. You don't try to guess the perfect moment to buy. You just buy consistently, step by step, week by week, or month by month. For example, you could decide to invest 20 euros a week, or 50, or maybe 200 euros a month. The amount isn't as important as the consistency. When the price falls, your euros automatically buy more Satoshis, the smallest units of Bitcoin. When the price rises, you buy fewer Satoshis, but you're still building. Over time, your average price evens out, and you stop being dependent on the market's highs and lows. The power of this strategy isn't in the math. It's in the discipline. Most people don't lose because they chose the wrong asset, but because they gave up too early or tried to perfectly catch the bottom. But the market waits for no one. While some hesitate and try to guess, others are quietly building. Let's get specific. Imagine someone consistently invests 100 euros a week for 5 years. That's about 26,000 euros in total investment. If the Bitcoin price continues to rise during this period, the average price will be higher over time. Nevertheless, it's realistic that this could accumulate 0.1 to 0.3 Bitcoin, depending on how much the market actually rises. And all of this without gambling, without panic, without guessing, just a methodical plan that works if you have 3 things: patience, consistency, and trust in your own decisions. With a savings plan, you don't have to predict the future. You're not competing with Wall Street. You're simply getting in the game and staying long enough for the math to do the work for you. That's why 0.1 Bitcoin isn't a fantasy. It's an achievable goal for those who act with consistency. Even small steps add up to something big. Bitcoin doesn't reward the smartest or the richest. It rewards those who understand a simple truth that time always works for the patient. When people talk about Bitcoin, most perceive its scarcity as something abstract. Yes, it's limited, but is that really such a big deal? In reality, it's everything. Time is the greatest enemy of those who hesitate. Every day you do nothing, there are fewer Bitcoins to own. On paper, the supply is capped at 21 million. But in practice, it's far less. Research shows that up to 30% of all mined coins are lost forever. Not sold, not hidden, just gone. Thrown away hard drives, forgotten passwords, unrecoverable wallets. This means that instead of 21 million, the real circulating supply is probably closer to 14.6 million coins. And of that number, a massive portion isn't even available on exchanges. They are stored in so-called cold wallets, personal vaults of long-term holders who have no intention of selling, no matter what happens. For them, Bitcoin is not a trading asset. It's digital property, something like land, gold, or fine art. They don't trade, they own. And the more people adopt this mindset, the less Bitcoin remains in circulation. Now look at the other side of the equation, the new supply. Every 4 years, the Bitcoin network halves the rewards for mining. This event is called the halving. Miners used to earn 50 Bitcoin per block. Now it's just a tiny fraction of that. By the year 2032, new Bitcoins will be so rare that their inflow will almost vanish. What does this mean in practice? It means you're no longer competing with other buyers. You're competing with time itself. Every day, more wallets are lost. Every cycle, fewer new coins are created. Every year, more investors, funds, and companies enter the market, all trying to claim their piece of a shrinking pie. In this race, time is the decisive factor. Hesitation is not just a missed opportunity. It's the shrinking of access to an asset that is disappearing in real time. That's why owning 0.1 Bitcoin in the year 2026 isn't about dreams. It's about awareness. While some are still saying it's too late, others are quietly securing their place in the history of digital money. Bitcoin isn't a story about something that will one day become rare. It's already rare. Every lost wallet, every halving, every fraction bought reduces the chances for everyone else. And those waiting for the perfect dip don't realize that with every block mined, they're not losing out on the price, but on access. Bitcoin was once seen as a toy for nerds, idealists, and risk-takers. In the beginning, it was nothing more than an experiment. Internet money for people brave enough to try something new. The majority of the financial world laughed. Banks, funds, economists, they all called it a temporary bubble, a digital fad with no real future. But when you look at the year 2026, the picture is completely different. Today, the same network that was once ignored has become a magnet for the planet's largest financial institutions. BlackRock, Fidelity, Vanguard, and dozens of other giants are no longer on the sidelines. They have launched exchange-traded funds that allow billions of euros to flow into Bitcoin with just a few clicks. What once required technical know-how, private keys, and manual transactions is now neatly packaged in traditional financial products. And it's no longer just retail investors putting in 100 euros. It's pension funds, insurance companies, and global corporations buying in with billions. And that's just the beginning. The story doesn't end on Wall Street. It's now spreading to governments. Some countries have started to mine Bitcoin themselves and build up national reserves of digital gold. Others are quietly adding Bitcoin to their state reserves as a hedge against geopolitical risks. Many have even openly stated that they don't plan to sell their holdings because they understand that owning digital assets is now a matter of national security and influence. Why are they doing this? Because the world has already seen what happens when traditional reserves can be frozen or confiscated. Remember the year 2022 when major world powers froze more than $300 billion of Russian assets overnight? In that moment, the illusion of neutral money vanished. Every government and every central bank came to the same conclusion. If your assets can be frozen, you don't really own them. And this is where Bitcoin breaks the system. It follows no commands. It cannot be frozen or censored. It requires no permission from foreign powers. It is borderless, incorruptible, and protected by code, not by politics. Now imagine an arena where there are only 210 million slices of 0.1 Bitcoin each. And not only are private investors entering, but also pension funds, corporations, and even nations. Every slice they claim is one less for ordinary people. And this isn't a theory. It's happening right now. Every new share bought by an institution narrows the space for you, for me, for everyone still waiting on the sidelines. This is the new financial reality of 2026. If you already hold just 0.1 Bitcoin, you are ahead. Not just ahead of random retail investors, but ahead of trillion euro funds and entire governments that are only now waking up and realizing that time is running out. To truly understand why even 0.1 Bitcoin makes sense in the year 2026, you have to compare it to the money you use every day: euros, dollars, francs, crowns. At first glance, these currencies seem reliable. They are familiar. They are accepted everywhere. They are issued by governments, backed by banks and laws. But beneath this stable surface lies a simple truth: they are designed to lose value over time. This is not a bug. It's a feature. Every central bank in the world targets inflation, usually around 2% per year. In other words, their goal is for your money to be worth less each year. If 1,000 euros buys a certain amount of goods today, it will buy less next year, even if nothing else changes. And in reality, it's often worse than it looks on paper. Food prices rise faster. Rent and housing rise faster. Healthcare and education continue to climb while your salary struggles to keep up. Look at the facts. Over the last 50 years, the US dollar has lost more than 85% of its purchasing power. If your grandparents had saved $1 in the 1970s, it would buy less than 15 cents worth of goods today. And here in Europe, it's no different in the long run. This isn't bad luck. This is how the system is built. The Argentine peso, the Turkish lira, the Venezuelan bolivar, all have collapsed under the same pressure. Governments print money they don't actually have. Every new euro or dollar created makes all the others, including yours, a little less valuable. Imagine a bucket with holes in it. No matter how much water you pour in, it always leaks out. That's fiat money. Bitcoin turns this system on its head. It cannot be printed. It doesn't depend on politicians or central banks. There will only ever be 21 million coins, forever. No exceptions, no new supply. It's scarcity written in code. Predictability that you can verify with math, not with promises. If our currency is like a treadmill that keeps getting faster, where you don't move forward no matter how fast you run, then Bitcoin is like a vault where your hard work doesn't evaporate. When you hold 0.1 Bitcoin, you're not just investing. You're protecting yourself from a system that quietly drains the results of your labor. It's not just an investment. It's a shield. A shield against inflation, manipulation, and devaluation. And when millions around the world finally realize that 0.1 Bitcoin will no longer be just a fraction, it will be a privilege. Everything we've talked about so far isn't a theory. It's already happening. Bitcoin is being lost. The next halving is approaching. Institutions are taking their seats, and time, as always, moves forward without pauses, without interruptions, without regrets. Now the choice is yours. Not a philosophical choice, not a hypothetical one, but a real, tangible decision. Will you be an observer or an owner? Because one day, and that day is not far off, owning Bitcoin will no longer be a question of wanting to. It will be a privilege simply because there will be no new coins, no extra seats, no next round. The system is closed forever. 21 million and not one more. Every tenth, every hundredth, every tiny fraction is a ticket into an ecosystem owned by a very few. And here's the question that should stay in your mind. How much longer can you afford to wait? Because every day you delay is not just a missed opportunity for profit. It's the loss of access. When the music stops, no new chairs will be added, and those who already have their seats will not get up. If you think 0.1 Bitcoin is too little, remember, scarcity is not measured in zeros. It's measured in access. Those who can say, I own even a small part of it, will be on the other side of financial history. The future won't ask why you didn't buy more. It will ask, did you buy it all? And if your answer is, no, I waited, then that will be the answer to why you were left outside while others built the next generation of wealth. Bitcoin isn't about wealth for wealth's sake. It's about the right to control your money without middlemen or politicians. It's not just a technology. It's a symbol of an era where trust is replaced by mathematics and power by code. You can watch, you can argue, you can wait for the price to fall further. But in this game, the reward doesn't go to the smartest or the fastest. It goes to those who acted while everyone else hesitated. But all of this is useless to you if you end up making the same mistake that millions have made before you. If you just leave your newly purchased Bitcoin on some crypto exchange, they don't really belong to you. You remember? If it can be frozen, it's not your property. How to avoid this fatal mistake? Take absolute control and store your 0.1 Bitcoin offline and completely safe from hackers and platform bankruptcies? I'll show you exactly that in my next video. It's best to click directly on the video that's now displayed on the screen or on the link in the first comment.